Storm Tracker.
The melt is on.
Cities are preparing for the worst, but hoping for the best. Volunteers are hard at work. You can see people in the background there filling sandbags.
It is very important for people to get out and volunteer.
You can see the flooded ditches in the area.
Now, of course, we're keeping a very close eye on how this rain is going to impact flooding.
For full coverage, turn to the WDAY Storm Tracker team.
Somebody has to stand up for victims.
Detective Stabler, my partner, Detective Benson.
It took a lot of courage to get up on that stand.
It's not gonna ever be able to hurt you again.
I promise you, I'll protect you.
Weekdays at 12 p.m. You're watching WDAY Extra. Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No. I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something. Is
Hot Mic. Hot Mic. On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo. Dom Izzo.
You know what? It's not my fault you're like in love with me or something. What?
Oh, no, she did not.
I hear her hair's insured for $10,000.
We need someone there that knows what they're doing, obviously. Surprise! Happy Monday, everyone. Dom Izzo is out today, so I'm filling in for him. Beautiful day here in North Dakota. Hope everyone's having a great start to their Monday. I am tired today, but we got a fun show ahead of you really fast. I just want to say that intro, I love it. It's so awesome. Hopper did such a great job. I posted on social media that intro, and I got some DMs from people saying that beginning part where it's like you're in love with me or something. That's not me saying that. I promise that is not me saying that. That's from the movie Mean Girls. If you've seen that movie, awesome movie. But I think it's funny, and I don't know if he intentionally did this on purpose, but my celebrity lookalike that I get told all the time, and I guess I kind of see it, but I also not really. But everyone says that I look familiar, and then they put two and two together, and then they say I look like Lindsay Lohan. So I kind of see it, but when people say that to me, when I was younger, I used to get offended by it all the time because it was during that drug phase when people would say that, and I was like, oh, so I look like I'm cracked out then. They're like, no, you don't look like that Lindsay Lohan. You look like the Parent Trap version Lindsay Lohan. And I'm 25. I'm like, oh, so I look like I'm 12. And I just making everyone feel uncomfortable. And they're like, no. I mean, the Mean Girls one, like she's cute in that one. She's a cute girl. And I just give people a hard time. I think it's so funny. I get Lindsay Lohan and then I get Lindsey Vonn, the Olympic skier. Would much rather get compared to an Olympic skier than Lindsay Lohan. I don't know. I don't really see it, but I guess I kind of see it. Freckles. I guess. I don't know. But yes. So we got a lot to talk about. Lots happening over the weekend. I was out of town this weekend. So this morning I was trying to catch all up in my Minnesota sports, and it was a rough weekend for Minnesota sports. Let's start with the Timberwolves. I'm going to be completely honest. I did not watch a single second of this game. I was not going to stay up to 9:30 to watch this game. I went to bed at literally 9:45. But I guess I didn't miss much. There wasn't really much to see. First quarter, kind of hanging in there. Well, they are hanging in there. They were leading by 124-23, and then it just went bad. Oh, actually, I'm looking at the wrong box score. What am I doing? Eric, you got to correct me when I'm wrong. Why is this one the one that I pulled up? Okay, so they ended up losing what was it? 109-80. They were trailing by 3 at the end of the first quarter. My bad. Then, yeah, they just could not. 14 points in the third quarter. Not good. I think I saw something saying that Cat missed 10 of his first 12 shots. That's terrible. Yeah, I would start fighting too. I would be really frustrated with the way that my team is playing. So that's game 1 of the series for the Wolves and the Nuggets. So lots to improve moving forward. My biggest thing is, why are they playing so late? That a 9:30 tip-off time, and I don't know, that doesn't benefit anyone. It's still 8:30 Mountain Time for Denver fans. And then for the poor East Coast people, 10:30. I remember growing up when I would try and watch the nighttime games, it would be literally midnight. And I would have school at 7:20. This was in high school. I'd have school start at 7:20 in the morning. And I was just so tired because I wanted to stay up and watch all of these games. And I just don't understand it. Especially on a Sunday. They could have played so much earlier. But here's a look at the 2023 NBA playoffs. The Western Conference side. I'm not necessarily a Timberwolves fan. They're fun to watch. They're frustrating to watch too, so I feel bad for all the Minnesota fans. Personally, I want to see the Kings go on a big run. What was it? Their first playoff win in what? 16 years? 13 years? In quite some time. And a thriller against Golden State. I'm personally pulling for the Kings. Let me pull something up. Okay. Yeah, and the Nuggets just looked really good yesterday. They're going to be a hard team to stop, but we'll see what happens in game 2. Can only go up from here. The Twins also played yesterday against the Yankees. 2 hits. Not good. Ended up losing 2-0. But they'll head up to Boston to play Red Sox starting tomorrow. So, again, it's early. I think I just saw something on Twitter literally right before the show started. They're going after a pitcher. Yeah, the Minnesota Twins and pitcher Pablo Lopez closing on a 4-year, $73.5 million contract extension. That's exciting. Making moves early on in the season. Yeah, the Yankees. Yankees are my least favorite team. Grew up being a Red Sox fan. My grandpa loves Boston teams, so my dad just we just grew up watching them and cheering for them because of my dad. So I do not like the Yankees. If a Yankees win is an L for everyone else. But yeah, okay, so that game happened yesterday. Red Sox coming up for the Twins. This is the last week for NDSU football spring ball. They have the spring showcase on Saturday. We will be broadcasting that on WDAY Extra. So you guys should definitely tune into that. I have been going to practices all throughout this entire spring season. Very early, 7 o'clock. And you guys know I'm not a morning person. So those have been fun to get to know the younger players. We talked to people we wouldn't normally talk to during the season. I was able to actually catch up with Jason Petrino, who's the new defensive coordinator. He's here, his first season here. So I talked with him a little bit about how it's going for him so far. And he's been working firsthand with the safeties. And there's been lots of new faces in the safety room. Take a listen to this interview I had with him last week.
Good. Like I said, the acclimation period for me was important too. As I kind of see things and understand, you know what the standard are and the expectations are as you get in. You kind of flow of practice, expectations, and stuff like that. So it's been really good. Players have been really receptive to coaching, which has been the best part. But at the same time too, even coaching me a little bit in terms of what things look like or a cauldron and unbalanced, stuff like that. So been very beneficial. I've got a very smart room. They understand, and so that part's been fun. But also kind of things that I've thrown off to them, they've been catching and understanding, and it's showing up on film, which is exciting.
What is it you're switching? Well, I don't know if you're just testing out for the spring ball or if it's like
a different type of things, just trying to find ways to utilize his skill set. Obviously, he's a bigger body, a guy that can move around, and trying to find ways, get our best 11 on the field, however that might be. But he's a person that we've tried to identify in my short time here. Let's kind of see what he does well, what it looks like from the back end and stuff like that. But another guy that's understands and knows the defense. And
how do you think he's gone so far?
Good. There's some natural growing pains a little bit, but he's a guy that cares a lot and will do literally whatever it is you say. And so it's just kind of honing in some of that stuff and understanding when is a good time and when is not a good time. But as he's getting accustomed to it, he's taking on the challenge, and definitely appreciate, but definitely see the rapid improvement and growth in this last month from when we kind of made that decision to see what it looks like.
What were those conversations like with him?
I kind of just plugged it a little bit, like, hey, what do you think? Yeah. What are your thoughts? Talked about, opportunities, using his skill set and things like that. And I think initially it was maybe not something he thought about right away, but I think he sees the benefit and a person that's going to think about the team first regardless.
Lots of young guys, Darius, Ryan, Jones. What's something about them that makes you think they have the potential to start when fall comes around?
I think the eagerness and the opportunity. Sometimes you might have the skill set and the opportunity to be a starter, all-conference type player in this conference, but when you're playing behind a couple of All-Americans, it's tough. It's tough to get those opportunities. And for their growth and to learn from those guys, and like I said, we watch a lot of film of the safeties from the last couple of years in terms of what it looks like, what we want it to look like. So they're taking that opportunity to learn and growing, and then when those opportunities are here, they're eager to showcase that. And then when a mistake is made, they understand what it was, why it was, and how to prevent it in the future.
There's a week left of spring. What's something you're trying to accomplish within this next week?
I think just kind of finish it strong. Honestly, it's like you look at the light of tunnel, it's almost over, versus hey, we got opportunities to still get better these next 4 or 5 more practices. So it's kind of making sure that this next practice is still our best practice, and not necessarily worrying about what's happening in late April and May and stuff like that, but really taking advantage of the opportunities to continue to get better and push to get better. And then the other part too is competition. We got guys that are battling for playing time and starting roles and all that stuff. So we got to kind of turn it up a little bit in this competition and put guys in some stressful situations and see how they respond in those. Good. Like I said, the acclimation.
So I think the biggest question does come on the defensive side of the ball during this offseason for NDSU football. Like he said, Darius Givians and Ryan Jones, those are two of the younger guys that are stepping up. Darius is a redshirt freshman. He's also making the switch. He was a cornerback, and he said his second day here, they decided to switch him to a safety. And he said that that's a way better fit for him. He said he likes it, honestly, a lot better than being a cornerback. He says that his athleticism and just his ability to see the field and his vision of the field is better utilized at the safety position. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I haven't gotten the chance to talk with Cole Wisniewski. I guess he has class on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so it's been hard to catch up with him. But it's been interesting to watch him just from afar learn the safety position. He's asking, just from when I'm up there for the 15, 20 minutes we're allowed to watch practice, he's always asking questions with not only Coach Petrino, but also the other safeties. So I think that's really cool to see. And as we all know, Cole is a very smart player. So I think if he does end up playing safety by the time the season rolls around, I think that'll be a good fit for him. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at that position specifically. I know Kolpack went to practice on Saturday. He came out with an article this morning just about tackling and how this spring ball has been way more physical than it has in past years for NDSU football. He'll be coming on the show in about 15 minutes. So when he comes on, we'll ask him a little bit more about that. He was able to catch up with the head coach, Matt Entz. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I guess he did something on social media with Cody Mauch, so we'll ask him a little bit about that. He'll be coming up at 9:30. I'm hoping that we'll have a surprise guest, an old friend of WDAY, on at 10. We're going to have to wait and see if this person will be able to make it on. I'm hoping that they will be. I'm trying to keep it a secret just because I always get a bunch of questions about this person. So hoping they can actually answer these questions. Of course, my good friend Zach Selby will come on at 10:15. Lots happening in Washington. I know he's a team reporter, so we can't get in the nitty and gritty about the business side of things, but their off-season workout started today. So we'll see what he has to say about that. And then a new friend, Ryan Fowler. He is a NFL college football analyst for the Draft Network. He, I guess, knows a lot about the NDSU players that are hoping to get drafted. So we'll get his 2 cents on what he's hearing from teams about these NDSU football players. So that'll be a conversation that we'll have at 10:30. You guys definitely won't want to miss that. As always, please feel free to tweet, email me questions. I love getting you guys involved in the show. And yeah, we're going to have some fun today. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a recap of what happened this weekend in the area. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Hot Mic on WDAY Extra and Inforum.com.
The Dragons Digital Network is here to bring you live coverage of all MSUM Dragons home events everywhere you want to watch. DDN combines all streaming options of the MSUM Dragons, NSIC Network, WDAY, and Inforum. All the games, all live on social media, smart TV apps, mobile apps, websites, and more. So however you like to watch, the Dragons are there on the Dragons Digital Network.
You took my father. Somebody's gonna pay for this.
There's no story more surprising than a real-life Dateline mystery.
Probably a pretty ugly crime scene.
Follow every twist and turn 5 times a week.
The chase is on.
With Dateline.
Weekdays at 1 p.m.
In this job, you take your eye off it for 1 second. People can die.
Don't think, just do it.
I'm a firefighter, and I will always be a firefighter.
Did a great thing today.
It's all because of you.
Weekdays at 7 p.m. and 12:05 a.m.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in North Dakota. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the NDHSAA.
News happens at all hours of the day and night.
Stories develop and situations change in the blink of an eye.
In our community, knowing where you can turn at any time of the day
for clear information and facts
is more important today than at any other time.
That's why we start our day
in the middle of the night
to gather new information
and be ready to bring it to you.
Tracking what has changed overnight and how that will impact your day today.
We're here for you with the most up-to-date news and weather
to get you on your way,
because your community
is our community.
911, what is your emergency? It takes a certain kind of person to run towards danger rather than run away from it.
Why is this job so important to you?
Growing up, I never saw any heroes who looked like me.
And that's what a hero looks like.
Help is on the way.
Sundays at 8 p.m.
Today, 1 in 5 working-age Americans has a mental health condition.
People in all types of jobs and at all levels.
And the key to helping us succeed is a supportive and inclusive workplace.
All of us have a role to play in making that happen.
So what can I do to help?
As a CEO, I can set the tone for supportive culture.
As a manager, I can offer assistance and accommodations.
As a coworker, I can listen and be a source of support to my colleagues.
As someone with a mental health condition, I can ask for what I need to perform my best.
I can offer all employees the supports they need to deliver on the job, for the team
and for the business.
What can I do?
What can I do?
What can I do?
I can remind others
that we all benefit from workplaces that promote good mental health.
Mental health-friendly workplaces are more important than ever.
And all of us have a role to play in promoting them.
Learn more at whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's. The truth is, Parkinson's disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them. If you have questions, the Parkinson's Foundation has answers. We can help you understand the disease and give you tips for living a better life. To learn more, please go to parkinson.org or call 1-800-4PD-INFO. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
Welcome back, everyone, to Hot Mic on WDAY Extra and Informed.com. It's time for that segment we do every single Monday, the best of the weekend. Lots happening. We'll start with the super local part. Eric, is there an intro that we have to play? Did I make that up? Yep. It's a Monday. Should I wait to... Should I go? Okay, we're hanging on. There we go. All right. The best of the weekend. Like I said, there was lots happening this weekend for the Fargo area. We'll start with the super local stuff. Baseball season is here. Horace High School had its first ever varsity baseball game. Go Horace Hawks. A friend that I have, her husband is one of the coaches, Quinn Irie. So they went down to the Battle of the Border down in South Dakota. They played against Roosevelt in their first game. They unfortunately fell 14-2. But still, first program game ever. That's pretty exciting. Long season ahead of them, so it'll be exciting to see how they end up. All right, so that's the super local. Now we're going to go a little bit bigger. Britta Curl, a name that we hear time and time again. She won gold medal for the USA. Third period, late in the third period, tied 3-3. USA then goes on a tear in the last 3 minutes, putting up 3 more goals to win 6-3. USA bringing home the gold, baby. What a career Britta Curl has had. I know she just won with Wisconsin. Yep, second national championship at Wisconsin. Gold medal for Team USA at the World Championships. She also won a gold medal at the 2018 Under-18 World. So, good for Britta. I couldn't imagine ever winning a gold medal in anything. So that's really exciting. Megan, I think Jamestown? From Jamestown, from Bismarck. Making Bismarck proud. Yeah, I'm looking at Dom's Twitter. He tweeted all about this last night. That's pretty cool. I know we've done a few stories on Britta on the news. Seems like an awesome girl. All right, so that was the best that happened this weekend. Go Fargo, go Moorhead. NDSU baseball is supposed to play at home. A little birdie told me that they will not be at home this weekend, though. I believe that they will be going on the road, which is sad because I feel like this is a repeat of what happened last year with NDSU baseball. So, they're in the midst of conference play. They won the series this weekend over St. Thomas. They won the first 2 games, fell in the last one 2-1. They're supposed to play Mayville State on Tuesday and then Oral Roberts this weekend. I do not believe that is going to happen. So hopefully we'll try again next week when they play Western Illinois. These games you'll be able to see on WDAY Extra, which is exciting. Eric, I know, is going to be producing these baseball games. No pressure, Eric. But baseball is so fun. The games are so fun to watch. Let's see what softball did this weekend. Yep, softball did just lose yesterday. They were on their... They're playing today honestly, right after the show at 11 a.m. they're playing. They lost 4-0 to South Dakota State. I believe South Dakota State is leading the Summit League right now. I'm checking that out to see if that's correct. Yep, South Dakota State is so far perfect in conference play. Can NDSU hand them their first loss? We'll find out. This is South Dakota State's field 2 weeks ago? Okay, I was going to say, wow. Baseball or softball? Okay, this is what NDSU softball's field looked like. That's just wild. And I was talking with people this weekend, and I was like, oh, yeah, like I think NDSU baseball is playing at home this week. And I was like, there's just no way that the snow is melted enough. Luckily, the softball team does have turf. So it's easier to play on that than it is grass. I should have went up to see what the field looked like at Newman Outdoor to get video of that. Clear of snow, according to Eric. So the problem is that it's wet. So my question is, you know that the weather is going to be pretty much bad until about May here. And I know turf is expensive, but wouldn't you invest in that so you can play? I don't know. That's just my question is, if you know that the weather is going to be cold, it's going to be wet, wouldn't you invest in materials that you can actually play on? I'm sure we can get into this with Kolpack. He's very... What is the right word? He likes talking about field conditions, especially with golf. This is what Newman Field looks like right now. Okay, so that on Friday... Yeah, I'm clear of snow. So just, not tearing up the field. I was going to say, yeah. And it wasn't warm. It was warm-ish this week. It's so funny because I was talking with my friends back at home, and I was just saying, I'm so sick of the cold. Especially when we got that foot of snow. I was so sick of it, and I was texting them, and I was like, we just literally got 7 inches of snow. They're like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, what's the weather like at home? It's been in the 80s for the past month. And I'm like, honestly, though, that's kind of too hot, especially it gets really humid at home. So that's kind of really hot. But I will take that over it being cold, like in the 40s, any day. And everyone keeps saying, it's funny because at NDSU football, people said this to me. They said the winters have not been so bad until I moved here. They said that the past 2 winters have been the worst winters in the past few years. And they said, isn't that funny how... And they said, isn't that funny that once you move here, we get the bad winters? So I guess it's all my fault. You guys can blame me for the bad winter. My bad. Yeah. Eric said so. That's their way of telling me that I should probably leave. Probably. But you guys are stuck with me. Sorry. All right. That's enough talk about weather. When we come back, Kolpack is going to join me live in studio. I see him standing right out there. And we're going to talk some NDSU football and probably some golf. You're not going to want to miss that conversation. We'll be right back right after this.
Get 11% off everything at Menards and update your home's flooring today. Great Lakes vinyl planks are a perfect flooring solution for any room. Check out our great selection of durable, waterproof floors that are easy to install. Great Lakes vinyl plank flooring features an attached pad for comfort and noise reduction. Pick up Defender vinyl plank flooring for just $279 a square foot after 11% rebate now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, we are Louie and Becky Thrash. We have lived in our home for about 20 years in Fargo.
From the beginning to the end, Laney's was great to work with on any project in our home.
Our air conditioner went out, and of course it was during the summer. We called Laney's. They scheduled us a date and time.
But great news for us, we got our service done earlier than expected. The 2 technicians were very nice, and the job was done before we knew it.
We would recommend Laney's for any job in your home.
828 is just great.
On the next Tamron Hall, from 8 to 80, these people prove you can do big things at any age. She's the Tell It Like It Is grandma who gives hilarious dating advice on TikTok. Then it's a Tam Fam fashion show. Meet the 8-year-old who made history as the youngest fashion designer to have a dress to hit the red carpet at the Emmys. Plus, actor and Grammy-nominated singer Tristan Mac Wiles gives us a sneak peek at his series inspired by the life of Kevin Durant. Next, Tamron Hall.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. on WDAY WDAZ. When you need to stay informed, turn to the only name that matters, WDAY Storm Tracker.
The melt is on.
Cities are preparing for the worst, but hoping for the best. Volunteers are hard at work. You can see people in the background there filling sandbags.
It is very important for people to get out and volunteer.
You can see the flooded ditches in the area.
Now, of course, we're keeping a very close eye on how this rain is going to impact flooding.
For full coverage, turn to the WDAY Storm Tracker team.
Overcoming drug addiction was difficult, but I found the path to recovery that worked for me. Treatment helped me come to terms with the issues in my life that caused me to use drugs. And I found better ways to cope. Learning I had a substance use disorder helped me realize I needed to make a change. The road to recovery is different for everyone. There were good days and bad days. But I found strength in seeking help. My friends and family made a huge difference in my recovery. I never gave up. I found my path, and I keep walking it every day. Find the path that works for you. Learn more at cdc.gov/stopoverdose.
There are places, people, and conditions in this world that almost seem beyond hope. But not when Mercy Ships is there. Mercy Ships is a place restoring sight to the blind, normalcy to the deformed, beauty and happiness to the outcast, and joy to the brokenhearted.
And many times, you can almost see the life coming back into them. Can't beat that.
Mercy Ships is the largest floating civilian hospital in the world, staffed with some of the most skilled volunteer medical professionals and crew. Mercy Ships is the reason why hope is now in sight for those who need it most. To learn more, go to mercyships.org today.
It's that time. An author.
Offensive production, number 1. Number 2, I forgot.
Golfer.
It'd be like going on a 3-person best shot, and we were saying, Kolpack, you got to make a 25-footer every time. You wouldn't putt first. I'd have Tim putt first.
And one heck of a TV personality.
This game is for the Cooper Cup.
It's the Forum's Jeff Kolpack.
4. I should have yelled 2.
Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
How are you?
Well, I'm walking in and I get a text message from a yuppie friend of mine in the suburban Twin Cities, and he goes, "You're very old." That's the word. I'm going, what's this supposed to mean?
You are.
Apparently you made thanks.
Just kidding. I was going to say, I do have a bone to pick with you, though.
All right.
So.
Dom starts off last week, wanted to punch me, and now, okay, let's go.
I don't want to punch you.
All right.
But you are about to get the block on Instagram. So
why?
I'm going to explain why. Okay. So as I told you guys on Friday, I went down to Spencer Wage's farm for this little story I'm doing on him. I post videos and pictures on the farm.
Yes.
And then I wake up, I get home, take a nap, wake up to a text from you saying, "Oh, Miss JMU Preppy spending the day on the farm."
Yes.
Where are we getting?
Where is this inaccurate?
Where are we getting Miss JMU Preppy? Why do you think JMU is a preppy school?
Well, it just sounds preppy. I mean, it's James Madison.
It's
Eastern.
a public school.
Well, I know, but it sounds private.
And it's literally like there's farms right around it. There's a chicken process power plant, whatever you want to call that, a chicken processing plant.
Can we get that photo of you walking around in the slop with Spencer Wagey? Do we have that available?
I don't know.
There's just something about this that's just a little out of place. That's all.
Why? I told you I can do the dirty work sometimes.
Okay, well.
When, like I said, there's a chicken power processing plant, whatever you want to call it, right next to JMU. So every time it rains, it smells like dog food because it's like the smell, I guess, just comes over there.
Well, maybe it's because in every outdoor pregame show we did, you were always too cold to this or to that.
It's not
high maintenance. You're high maintenance.
Oh my gosh, high maintenance.
That's the two words I was looking for.
You're calling me high maintenance.
Yes.
Have you met yourself?
No.
All right, whatever.
Let's get
I'll
on.
give it to you.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. Okay. My biggest question to you is about this challenge to Cody Mauch that you sent me.
This Wednesday is it's a sweet training event. It's called. It's to raise money for the Roger Maris Cancer Society, and it's a kickoff to Roger Maris All-Star Week. And Chad Greenway is going to be there. Cody Mauch is going to be there. Roger Maris Jr. And I threw out on Twitter, I thought, okay, big man, Cody, this is a game where mano a mano, you don't have to be 6'5", 303, and a NFL pro prospect to win. So I thought, okay, let's go. Let's do there it is. I'm putting the challenge to Cody Tudd, that's his Twitter name, in a one-on-one golf. Can I have a game on? And a day later, he said, let's go. I'm in.
All right.
So I'm not sure the game. Mark Johnson, who the general manager of Sweet Shots, he's in charge of, it's going to be a little 5-10 minute game, whatever.
Okay.
But the beauty of this, Cody, is it's not a long drive contest. That's the beauty of Sweet Shots.
Is that your weakness?
Well, I mean, let's go. I mean, if you're 6'5", 300, you have a little advantage usually. Although there's some guys my size who can drive the snot out of it, but I'm not one of those. But look out my 8-iron. My 8-iron is money.
Is it?
Yeah, Target Golf. It's Target Golf.
Okay. So my strategy when I go to Sweet Shots and places like that, we had Top Golf at home.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm not going to be able to hit it far. I don't golf. Terrible. And I was just telling you the story about when I was just at Sweet Shots the other week.
Yeah,
so
you don't have to. That's the beauty of Sweet
so
Shots.
that's what I'm saying. You aim. Well, we always did like the little target games where you get the points where you hit it. My strategy was you hit it to the closest one, and you start racking up the points because you get bonus points. That's how you win.
Well, it's like the turtle and the hare, right? So you're taking the turtle, the snail's pace way of accumulating points, rather than trying to bomb at 280, which you and I probably both can't.
No.
Unless there's an 80-mile-an-hour wind behind us.
No, I was so bad. Like you said, I need to learn.
You need to get lessons. Yes. If you're going to stay in this business, you need to learn how to golf.
I'm going to learn this summer. That is my goal, is to learn.
You should.
Mike Capel told me he's going to take me out and he's going to learn, or he's going to teach me.
Okay.
So we'll see. But yeah, okay. I want to also talk to you about NDSU football. We're about to start the last week of spring practice. You went on Saturday. Look at you working on a Saturday.
Yeah, well, somebody has to.
Who would have
around
thought?
here.
And you just came out with an article this morning. Tell us a little bit about your conversations with Matt Entz.
Yeah, I was a little surprised because the trend in college football these days, and especially in spring football, is to not do as much contact as to prevent injury. And so that's been NDSU's MO over the last, 3-4 years of spring football. I guess it is spring training. Is not a lot of live tackling drills, not a lot of physical work. It's more mental. The veterans can take time off. And because over the last, 11 years, 10 times NDSU has gone 15 or 16 games, reaching all the way to. And so they've already done so much physical work, it's time to back off. Well, this year, as we know, they had some tackling issues during the season, and it was on defense by far the most points they've given up. I think it's 20.1 in the last 11 years. I mean, usually they're around 10 to 12 to 15. Now, 20, that's not horrible in the whole scheme of things in FCS football. I mean, everybody scores. But at a championship level, last year they were at 11.1 in 2021, the title year. 11.1 points game or somewhere around there. And they almost doubled last year. And so the head coaching staff, literally almost right after the SDSU title game, on the way back, decided in spring football, we need to tackle more. That was their goal. We need to get more work, live tackling. We're going to have a younger defense, and they just decided that that's going to be they're going to change their philosophy in spring football, and that's what they've done. Head coach Matt Entz said they did more live tackling situations than they ever have in his time here. So they went the other way.
Okay.
To get more, and how do you learn how to tackle? I guess you got to tackle.
Is he liking what he's seeing?
Yeah, he says they're certainly not there, but likes the progress, I suppose, like any coach would want at this time of the year. And, he wanted to see if some of his younger D-backs, especially, who are untested, can tackle. I mean, you can run the 40 all you want. You can do all these great shuttle runs and test all you want. But really, football comes down to blocking and tackling. And can you tackle? I mean, that sounds so simple, but they had some issues last year with that.
I feel like every single week we always talked about the tackling. Every single week on our pregame show.
Yeah, we did.
So that's good that they're addressing it now during the off season. Which position group specifically are you the most interested in during this off season?
Well, and it's hard to make any determination in the limited time we have to see practice, but obviously I've just been keeping an eye on the D-backs, who's rotating at safety, and corners. I mean, they lost 3 of their top 4 corners. They lost both starting safeties and their top backup. That's 7 guys in the back end that they need to figure out and replace. And so, I mean, did I glean anything, looking at it in practice? Not really. You never do. I mean, Pete Carroll, when he was at USC, head football coach there, he let sports writers and sportscasters in at practice all the time because he goes, I know you guys don't know anything about the game, so it doesn't matter. Not like you're going to go to Washington State and go, hey, this is what they're doing at practice. Because he goes, I know you guys don't know, because most of us, probably didn't play at that level. And even if you did, who knows what they're doing and change things up. So, what do I take from practice? I just look at who's out there, really. I mean, get to the basics.
That's all you really can do, because there's not enough time to digest everything that you're seeing. And like you said, 10 to 15 minutes that we have. Cole is working out with the safeties.
Cole Wisniewski.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I asked the head coach that. I go, is Cole Wisniewski a safety? And he said he's playing defense. Just, a little sly grin. It's a chance and an effort for them to try to get their best 11 out there.
Yeah.
And he's a big safety if he stays there. Oh, my God, he's 6'4", 228. I mean, that's a big safety. I think they want to get bigger at that position. Michael Tutsi was really good at what he did and was a stellar player. I think they just want a little bigger body in that spot now. And so and this is the time to do it. I mean, this is the time to experiment, if you will, if he can play there. And if he does, that's a hell of a pro prospect, isn't it? If he's
so versatile.
Yeah.
You can play linebacker and safety.
Outside linebacker or safety. Yeah.
And I just played my interview that I had with Coach Petrino. He just went on and on about how smart he is, which
he is the Elite 90 award winner, 4.0.
And you can't teach someone to be smart. So, I mean, he's wherever he plays, he will definitely excel at, I think. So, and like you said, they want bigger bodies. Darius Givians, 6'2", 208. Yep. So also another big body that they're switching to the safety. Offensively, what are you looking at?
Well, running back rotation, but again, it's hard. Rajah Nelson's been taking reps at running back and saw a couple good moves last Saturday. Oh my goodness, that's kind of a running back stuff. Now, whether he stays or does some sort of versatility flex stop stuff, remains to be seen. Wide receiver is always going to be I think the thing. They need one guy to step up and be that deep threat. After Christian Watson left after 2021, I felt like they really didn't have that last year. Zach Mathis had a great year, but he's 6'7". I mean, he's more the possession guy. I don't think he's the burner guy. Is it going to be Carson Hagerly? Is it going to be, one of the returning guys, Eli Green? They got like 8, 9 guys. I mean, Mekhi Collins, is he going to live up to his recruiting ratings. And I mean, there's literally 7-8 guys there that you're thinking, okay, they need one of those guys just to separate themselves from the others.
Do you have a front runner?
I don't. No, I was looking. I was just looking last 2-3 weeks of practice. I haven't seen anybody. But again, we have a limited window, so I don't know.
And like I've said this before, we don't get to see the team portion. We see the individual drill. So, when you don't have anyone battling against you.
Yeah, how do you know on individual drills?
Right.
It's kind of hard when guys are stretching to figure out who's, he looks good stretching.
Do we now make the petition to let us stay a little bit longer? I'm just kidding. There's no way they would ever let us.
Well, again, I would argue to Matt Entz that just don't take video. You could let us in and it would, I mean, what do you know about you know about as much as I do, right?
Right. Yeah.
And really, as reporters, you really don't have to know the ins and outs of the game because your readers or your viewers, in your case, really don't know the 5-2 Okie defense or, the odd 3-4. And you don't have to get into the details because they don't know. Mm-hmm. They don't understand. So I write to my audience, and my audience doesn't really care about the Tampa 2.
They don't.
They don't. They care if you win. They care about the emotions. They care about explanations. But, I mean, you're not out there to impress anybody's your knowledge of the game. That's not what you do.
No, you're there to inform people.
Yes.
And it's funny because when I worked for Washington, we were allowed to stay and watch the team stuff. They just said, don't pull your phones out, which everyone knew. It's just etiquette. Like, what to tweet, what not to tweet. And before each practice, they gave us a list of who was practicing and who wasn't practicing and why they're not practicing. So it's just funny how college is so different from NFL when it comes to information that they give out. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if anything
I didn't know they gave you a list on who's practicing and why. Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
Yeah. Every single practice, it was a list of why they're not practicing, all that kind of stuff. So you kind of knew who was going to be playing by the time the game rolls around. So even before the game, we got a list of who wasn't playing and why they're not playing. So
do they have anything like Bob Smith not practicing hungover or anything like that?
That would be
party too hard last night.
That would be called illness. They would say illness. Yes. That is actually what they would say. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. Kolpack's gonna stick around for a few more minutes, and we'll chat about who knows what. Don't get any.
We'll think of something.
We'll think of something. We'll be right back right after this.
The Dragons Digital Network is here to bring you live coverage of all MSUM Dragons home events everywhere you want to watch. DDN combines all streaming options of the MSUM Dragons, NSIC Network, WDAY, and Inforum. All the games, all live on social media, smart TV apps, mobile apps, websites, and more. So however you like to watch, the Dragons are there on the Dragons Digital Network.
Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I love you so. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will.
There is a road laid out for me, leading
boxes everywhere. And this is gonna be Addie's room.
I am blind.
You're really gonna like it.
I hope so. Yeah.
I know this road is there for me. There is a long way.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
The ways down by the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
I got this.
I know this road is there for me.
Okay.
If I'm really free, take me down to the river and wash me.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out.
Here's my resume.
But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's a lie. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
Any real-world experience.
it's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe, it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Do you want to meet a family with a transgender kid? Here we are. Max loves to do backflips. Max loves to play his ukulele. Max loves to just be a kid and just be himself. When I found out I was pregnant, all I really wanted was a happy, healthy, whole child. And that's what I got. I think it's really important for people to know that trans kids don't have a political agenda. They are just kids. Like any parent, we love our kids unconditionally, and we will never stop fighting for them. Stand with us. Protect our families.
Welcome back, everyone. You're watching Hot Mic on WDAY Extra and Inform.com. Jeff Kolpack is in the studio.
Look at that beautiful blue sky. It
I
looks like it's like
know.
72 and sunny in Fargo here. About people, oh, that's Detroit Lakes. Close enough. Lake season's close to being open. No, they're still frozen. There's Fargo. Yeah, we're all clear. And meanwhile, the high school sports are all stuck indoors.
This is what I was talking about.
Do I need to get on my soapbox again?
Just go for it.
Well, I mean, I know I'm sick of time. I just think spring golf and the boys should go the way of the girls, which moved to the fall a couple years ago. Or if not, late summer. I think you could get more golf in from mid-July to end of August. Have your state tournament at the end of August. Kids can still play football. It's not like you have to practice golf every day. You can still, I mean, and there's not that many kids that do both. There really isn't. But I think you could get more done. And but here we are, just still slugging it in. Snow's not even melted.
I know.
You know,
it's crazy.
I think Rose Creek thinks they can get open by the end of the month here. But then that still, it leaves you literally a 1 month season. And still in May, you're going to have, how many times have we seen on WDAY sports highlights? Here's the Shanley Invitational. Everybody's in stocking caps, huddled up, wearing thick stuff. I mean, it happens in May.
Last year, I want to say it was the Class B, some Class B boys golf tournament. And I was driving around Oxbow, just literally snotting everywhere. It was so cold. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, are they seriously? It was like kind of snowing actually outside that day. It's insane that people have to play.
I mean, there's no perfect answer. I'm not saying that's the perfect answer. There's not.
Yeah.
I had Dan Wolf, the Cheyenne head coach, on my golf show on Saturday, and we agreed. I mean, he doesn't say that's perfect, and administrators don't want to be open during the summer. I get that. School administrators, they shut her down for a couple months. I understand that, but I'm just saying what's the best thing for the kids here.
Because you also have to take into account the state that you live in. You know, the weather here is so different from everywhere else. So
yeah, and some springs is great. What, 2 years ago? Was it 2 years ago? We were golfing in middle of March, or maybe 3 years ago. Yeah, was that the pandemic year? I can't remember. I struggle on timelines because I'm old, evidently.
Not my words, your friend's word.
Yes.
But one of your favorite golfers golfed this weekend, Amy Olsen.
Yeah, first time out. She made the cut, finished around tie for 60th or something like that. But I think just making the cut was a pretty big deal for her. And we'll see in the next how it goes. Got to remember she's with child now, and so
that's just so impressive that she's able to golf while she's carrying a baby. Crazy.
Yeah,
that is just
her hope is to make it through June.
Okay.
Yep, and then see where she's at there. If she makes the U.S. Open, what was her quote to me? I'll try to waddle up to the first tee and play or something like that. And so good for her. It's we'll see. She told me a few years ago that she didn't want to play golf till she's 50.
Mm-hmm.
And so I asked her on my golf show 3 weeks ago, I go, well, you once told me this. She said, yeah, it's a year-by-year thing. So she'll get through this year. They'll have her and Grant will have their child. And then I think that you reevaluate on year-by-year basis and go from there. But, this is her 10th year. She's no rookie. She's 10th year on tour, and it's been her life. And it'll be interesting to see, what the future holds for her.
Mm-hmm. Good for her for still being able to do it. That's
how many pro athletes play while they're pregnant?
Well, and I feel like because a lot of, I know in soccer you can't, because you can't be running around. You can't be aggressive with people. So that's cool that in golf you can still play.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a physical sport. So, but I mean, my wife was doing Zumba until I think 2 weeks before the youngest was born. I think something like that.
Oh
so,
gosh.
I mean, you got to stay active, right? I mean, you can't just sit around while I'm pregnant. I mean,
I wouldn't know.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
One of the Williams. Yeah. I think that was it Venus or
I don't know.
Or Serena.
Venus then? I think Venus.
Venus. Yeah.
They're just freak athletes though, both of them. You know what I'm going to start doing this summer actually, and me and my friends here have been talking about it. We're going to start playing pickleball. I just don't know where pickleball
I'm a rising
is.
star in that game.
Are you?
Yes.
I had this dream the other night, and I don't know why or how this happened, but like this famous pickleball trainer follows me on Instagram. And I think he was like the last thing I saw before I went to bed. But he was training me to be this famous pickleball player. And I was becoming a rise to the top. And then I woke up because I don't know why this kept happening to me, but I kept forgetting to set my alarm. I guess I was so tired. And I woke up.
So you missed your match?
I woke up right before it started. And I was like, dang it. Like I was about to become famous for pickleball.
Speaking of pickleball, Amy's a very good pickleball player. She's a great athlete.
Have you played with her?
No. Yeah, I did. I did a story on her actually playing pickleball 2 or 3 years ago. And she's really good. Mm-hmm. I mean, and she's a great athlete. And just because you're a golfer, that's the one thing I think people don't understand about Amy Olsen is she can be great at almost anything she does. She's that good of an athlete. Yeah. And that's why she's on the LPGA Tour. Good
for her. I wish I had still some athletic ability, but I peaked in high school.
I once took her swing frame by frame to Larry Murphy, the head professional. He was at Moorhead at the time, but now he's working around, I think he's still at Edgewood, but assistant NDSU coach, volunteer. And I said, Larry, evaluate her swing frame by frame. And he looked and he goes, I can't believe she's just really athletic. Mm-hmm. And he went on to describe on the rotation and everything. He goes, she's just really athletic.
I don't think I've ever seen her play, so I need to watch her.
You should.
I need to watch her. Maybe she can teach me some lessons about golf.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if she's a miracle worker, but
yeah, you should have seen me. It was pretty embarrassing. I told my friends, put your phone away. All right, Jeff. Well, I guess we'll let
Thanks
you
for
get
having the old man on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in. It was fun.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. I'll see you later. Probably tomorrow. Will I see you at 7 a.m. tomorrow, though?
Football, I'm always there at 7 a.m. Or I may be at the end of practice. I'm not sure which one.
You're always there at the end of practice. All right, Jeff. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, hopefully a good friend of mine will be able to join. We will see. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Hot Mic on WDAY Extra and Inform.com.
Get 11% off everything at Menards. Mastercraft makes great doors inside and out, building the highest quality doors in a wide selection of styles. Get a ready-to-paint steel exterior door system for just $219.99 after rebate. Updating door handles are an easy way to show off your style. Quick-set handles and levers come in a variety of options across 6 finishes. Pick up this Juno entry combo for only $34.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Next, DT.
I'm really excited.
The new era of live is here. We're on set with Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos. Plus,
it just feels right.
Chris Evans and Ana de Armas together again and full of sexiest man alive jokes.
How sexy are you?
So many things, yeah. I get it now.
Then, our exclusive with Bob Hart's Abby Shola's Billy Gardell, his weight loss journey 150 pounds lighter.
I have a few critiques about being skinny.
Next, DT.
Weekdays at 6:30 on WDAY WDAZ. Send your weather-related photos or video to the WDAY Storm Tracker team. Contact weather@wday.com or share them with us on Facebook and Instagram. keeping an eye on the sky. The WDAY Storm Tracker team.
You got lots of money over here.
I want to go for it.
So do I. Let's do it.
You bet your life.
Give me the money. $5,000.
Boosting the economy.
You seriously asking me this question, Jay? Coney Island. What are we doing over here?
Every weekday.
Yeah, give me that money. Oh, yeah. I'm going to give it to you like an Italian uncle. Here you go. You get yourself a little something there. There you go. Right there.
Weekdays at 3:30 p.m.
Thanks for buying a fishing license.
What the?
I know, but listen. I want you to picture all the great things this simple purchase does. Like building public boat ramps, keeping local waters clean so families can fish and swim, and maintaining a healthy fish population.
What's Mom doing?
It also provides fishing education and activities for the kids, and funds long-term plans to protect our lakes and streams.
Wow.
Wow is right.
Did he?
When you buy a fishing license, you do a lot, because every dollar from a license purchase protects and maintains your local waterways for future generations to enjoy. Learn more at takemefishing.org.
Sorry, I'm out sick again. I just can't shake this fever.
Spread by mosquito bites, West Nile virus is found in nearly every state across the country.
Elena had another asthma attack. She's really sad to miss school again.
Asthma, a leading chronic illness among children and youth in the U.S., can often be triggered by allergens from household pests.
Hi, Chief. I finally got a diagnosis. It's Lyme disease. I'll be out for a few days, maybe longer.
Every year, nearly 300,000 people nationwide are diagnosed with Lyme disease, an illness from tick bites.
Coach, I'm at the hospital. I got stung by something and had a bad allergic reaction. I'm not going to make the game.
Stinging insects send more than 500,000 people to the emergency room every year. Don't let pests force you to take a sick day. Learn how to protect yourself and your family at pestworld.org.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
This is Hot Mike. Hot Mike. On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everyone. Hour 2 of Hot Mike is going to start now. Dom Izzo is not in today. Logan Campbell filling in for him. I just saw a tweet too. Okay, two things. First one, lots of NFL teams are starting their off-season workouts today. I saw my friend Kelsey, she tweeted out, she works for the Cincinnati Enquirer. Cordell Volson was one of the first people in the locker room today in Cincinnati. So he was going to get year 2 started. This literally just happened right now. The Eagles and Jalen Hurts agreed to terms on a 5-year, $255 million contract extension that makes him the highest paid player in NFL history. That is absolutely insane. I don't even know what I would do if I had that much money at all. No idea what I would do. And I'm pretty sure he's my age. I'm going to see how old he is. If he's younger than me. Oh my gosh, he's younger than me. That stinks. Good for him. Go. Okay, he'll be 25 this year. Okay, then we're the same age. Wow. What would you do if you had that much money? So he gets 100. Yeah, I don't know what I would do. So he gets 110 fully guaranteed at signing, the third most ever. 126.5 fully guaranteed before year 2. That's insane. I don't know if you guys remember Jamal, but he's an Eagles fan, so I'm going to have to ask him his thoughts about this. He's probably pumped. Probably pumped. Wow. Go Jalen. I should have been a football player. If only I was a boy. All right, we're waiting for my friend to come on. Hopefully she can. But until then, I guess you guys did something in the back. Should we go to whatever you guys did in the back? Okay. They have some questions for me. Let's see what you got. Favorite life memory? I don't even know. My favorite life memory. It's a Monday. You're making me think hard on this Monday. I'm trying to think in like recent years what my favorite life memory could potentially be. What's the next one? This one's kind of too broad. My role model? Oh my gosh, guys, these are kind of hard questions. My role model is... I'll tell you this guy that I do like to watch on TikTok. I think he's really cool. He's not necessarily my role model, but I think he's pretty cool. His name is Keith Lee, and he does these food reviews in Vegas. But he goes to like these like not popular places. He goes to like these rundown places and reviews their food, and he's very honest about the reviews. But he literally changes people's lives because there's this one place he had like lemon pepper wings in Vegas. And he said, the best wings he's ever had. And that guy, like local TV stations went to go and visit him because there was lines wrapped around the restaurant like 6 times. And he said that before that, they were sold maybe like 2 wings every 3 days. So he changed their lives. He's not my role model, but he's one of my favorite people right now that's like a social media influencer. All right, next question. I know that's not very deep. Favorite story I've done at WDAY? There's a few good ones. Actually, that's a great question. I really liked my Nash Jensen one that I did before the season, or actually it was the first week of the season. His dad unfortunately passed away during the off season. So I was able to talk with him during media day just about his dad and, having the season without him. We have another story coming out with him next week. We'll be talking with his mom, hopefully. So just kind of circling back on that. That was one of my favorite ones. My story that I did with Michael Tutsi and his daughter Sarai during the national championship game, I loved that one. I love kids. Yeah, and Eric, you came on that shoot. I love kids. I have the worst baby fever. I just love being around them. And we got to spend like 3 hours, 2 hours with Michael, his dad, Sarai, and it was so fun just seeing the way that she was interacting with everyone. She's the happiest little girl. That one was really fun and really cool to put together. I really like the one that I'm doing right now with Spencer Wagey. It's just so different, and I've always wanted to do these documentary type stories. So this one's going to be really cool and really good. It's just, my problem is when I do these stories, especially like these longer ones, is we were there for 6 hours and just figuring out the best sound it's taking me forever because I want to include so much, but you can only, people's attention spans are so short nowadays. So finding out the best chunks has been so hard for me because there's been so many good ones. I'm going to have to find a way to be able to tweet it all out or something like that. But those ones are probably my favorite. I also did one. That one wasn't my favorite. Okay, yeah, those 3 were probably my favorite so far. Is that the last question we had? Favorite athlete to interview? Here, are we talking about here or just anywhere? Okay. When I was an intern for Lindsay Zarniak, she was the best. She's actually probably one of my biggest role models and one of the biggest influences on my life. I actually called her a few weeks ago and we just caught up. She's so nice and so down to earth. We got to do kind of like a documentary type thing with Max Scherzer. And so he was someone that we saw like on a monthly basis. And he was really fun and really funny. And he was always so fun to interview. And that's the thing. When you have these athletes that are these personalities, or you get to see these sides of them that you don't normally get to see, those are the best interviews ever when they bring out their personality and answer ways in a non-PR way. Those are the best. So Max Scherzer is one of them. Santana Moss, always love talking with him because he's just so fun. Chase Young, I got to talk with him. He's funny. He's really funny. He just throws out these phrases. You're like, where does that even come from? Chase Young's good, which we'll talk about Chase Young because he's back at practice today. Washington started their off-season workouts today, too. So we'll talk with Zach a little bit about him. I'm trying to think who else I interviewed that's just... We also, when I worked with Lindsay, we did country music artists, too. And we got... Kane Brown was really cool. And I heard Kane Brown's going to Wii Fest, so hopefully I'll be able to make it up there because I like him. I think he was really nice. He was cool. His wife was really nice, too. She was awesome. But those ones are probably my favorite athletes that I've interviewed. Terry McLaurin, too. He's just so nice and so calm and so cool. So he was cool. And honestly, here, I'll throw in some people from here. Dawson Weber was always really fun to talk to because he had such a big personality. He was really cool. Cody is always fun to talk to as well. Michael Tutsi, too. Just because Michael Tutsi, he was so open about everything, and he would tell me things that I didn't know about his life. So he was always really good, too. Those are my favorite ones so far. Hopefully the list will continue to grow and grow throughout my career. All right, next question. Favorite spots of vacation? Probably the Outer Banks. Definitely the Outer Banks. I've been going there my whole entire life. I'm actually going there again this summer. Stacy, I know you're watching. I was actually going to come up to you and talk to you about this today. Here's the problem, though. So, my dad wants to go for a week, and my mom wants to go for a week. Back-to-back weeks, so that's 2 weeks. My parents, they try and plan their vacations around all of the kids. So I'm one of 4. When we're all doing our own things. My brother works in D.C. My other sister lives in Alaska. And my other one's in college, but she has a summer job. And then I'm here. So they try and figure out when will be the best time that we all can go. And they want us to go for the full week, which is hard to take 2 weeks off straight, which I don't think any of us are going to be able to do. So it's fun, but it's just stressful trying to figure out how to get there and how much time and how you're going to split up the time. But the Outer Banks is my favorite one. Corolla, that's the beach that we go to. If you guys have to check it out. You guys, if you want to go to the beach, I know that people here go to Arizona, Florida, but seriously try the Outer Banks. And you rent out these huge houses. They're like mansions with pools, hot tubs. It's so fun, and you get to spend so much family time. I love just, you put your phones away. There's not a whole lot to do. You don't go out to bars. There's some restaurants that you can go to if you want to go out to eat. But you just are forced to spend so much family time, which I love. And it's the best time. We go with my cousins. They're going to hopefully go. They're all older, too. So we're trying to figure out. And they all live all over the country, too. So should be a good time. That's my favorite place to vacation. I just was in San Francisco. That was a really fun vacation, though. And I really liked it there. It was so different than what I was expecting it to be. So go to San Francisco if you can. All right, next question. This is a good question. What do I love the most about Fargo? The people, honestly. Everyone is so nice and so outgoing, which I love. And, everyone talks about Minnesota nice, Midwest nice, whatever it is, Fargo nice. That's seriously so true. And, people on the East Coast get such a bad rep. They're like, no, everyone's mean. We're not mean. We just don't go out of our way to talk to people we don't know, and you kind of just stick to your circles, which is something I love about here is that people will go out of their way to say hi to you. I mean, at games, I have people who come up to me all the time, and we just have normal conversations, and I love that. I love meeting new people. I love when people come up to me and say hi to me, so I really appreciate that about you guys. That's my favorite thing about Fargo, definitely. Favorite food. I am unfortunately a foodie. Not unfortunately. I like that about me. I love food. I love to eat. My favorite food, it kind of changes. But recently, I would say sushi. Definitely sushi. So when I was in San Francisco, I was visiting my best friend, and It was for my birthday, and she took me out to this really nice sushi restaurant. It's called Omakase. The restaurant's not called it, but the style of sushi is called Omakase. So what that is the sushi chef makes the food for you. Like, he'll like hand pick, like, it's literally a piece of sushi, but it's like 10 different courses. It was the best sushi I've ever had in my entire life. The best. I had sea urchin. I had Wagyu steak sushi. I literally dream about that sushi. It was so, so, so good. So definitely sushi right now. It used to be steak. I still like steak, but I don't know. I feel like I could, if I could, I feel like I don't want to, but I feel like I could be vegetarian if I wanted to. Oh, she just texted me right now. She said, can I join in 10 minutes? You missed her time. Missed her time. It was, I'll tell you guys who it was. It was going to be Saquon. She used to be a morning anchor here. She now works at Fox 9 in the cities. I get so many questions. People come up to me and they ask me about what she's doing because they said, oh, we haven't heard from her. Like, we don't know where she is, and they don't have social media. So I was going to have her come on here and just give some life updates. She's in the cities and talk about what it's like in the cities now that there's playoffs happening there. But we'll have her on next time I'm here. All right, they got one more question they want to get to. Favorite sporting event I've covered? Like a specific game? When Washington beat the Steelers and the Steelers were undefeated and Washington handed them the first loss of the season. That game was amazing. That was so fun. That one, and then when they won, I think they beat the Eagles to win the NFC East. But that was when it was like the NFC least, when everyone was so bad. But that still was pretty cool. I mean, just remember everyone was so happy because that season was tough. We went through so much that season just with the name change and the rebrand and everything. So that one, those two games were really cool. But those are games that I worked. I'm trying to think what else. Nats opening day was really cool. I got to cover that as well. That was pretty cool. Here, favorite games I cover here. Honestly, all of the tournaments, the basketball tournaments were really fun. I really love doing Dakota Bowl every year too. I think that's such a fun day. It's a long day, but it's a fun day. All the state tournaments have been fun. Honestly, everything here has been so fun. Basketball games are really fun for NDSU men's and women's because both of the teams are very good. The players are very nice. The coaches are very nice. NDSU football too, because there's so many different personalities, so many different players, and they're obviously good. Yeah, there's been lots of good moments and good games here. I'm gonna have to think about that a little more and like pinpoint my actual favorite games that I've covered here, because there's quite a few for all of the sports that I've done here. But yeah, I've gotten pretty lucky with games I've gotten to cover. So those are good questions. Good job, guys. Way to think on the fly. Okay, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, Zach's going to join us. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Hot Mic on WDAY Extra and Inform.com.
What color bra should I wear underneath a white top?
All your burning questions are answered.
Is gargling with salt water actually good for a sore throat?
The most asked cooking questions.
What's the secret of a perfect scrambled egg?
Old school medical advice. True or tale?
Do you have to wait 30 minutes after eating to swim? The answer is...
And strap in for a...
lingerie Q&A.
Mixed Rachel.
Weekdays at 3 on WDAY WDAZ.
The stories we share are more than just words. They are unseen conversations and interviews. They are hours of research and dedication. They are the stories that connect us with the truth and with each other. We are honored to share your stories.
The end of hunger and poverty starts here. Your gift of an animal from Heifer International can help a family with food and income, all while caring for the earth. Heifer International. Learn more at heifer.org.
For children fighting critical illness, we can make the stars align. Because when we come together, hope and joy will shine. Help us make every wish come true.
I'm Naheem Hines.
I support the Muscular Dystrophy Association because they help my mom and kids like Ethan.
Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before.
Join us and learn more at mda.org today.
When you or a loved one is diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it can be tough to know where to turn. But the Alzheimer's Foundation of America is here for you. We've helped tens of thousands of people through our 7-day-a-week helpline, connected communities nationwide with information and support through our Educating America tour. And our telephone-based support groups meet weekly, providing assistance and support to families. We do it all because of one thing, you. Join us in the fight against Alzheimer's and donate today. alzfdn.org or call 866-232-8484.
Somebody has to stand up for victims. It took a lot of courage to get up on that stand.
I promise you, I'll protect you.
Weekdays at 12 p.m.
I'm Tyne Morgan, host of U.S. Farm Report. Join me right here each weekend as we explore the news and issues that matter most to agriculture. We know each year farmers and ranchers are thrown challenges, but as agriculture continues to adapt, we are right there with you. From markets to weather, we take a deep dive into what matters most to agriculture and rural America.
Saturdays at 6 a.m.
Federal investigators blame human error for a deadly natural gas explosion.
We all remember where we were that morning.
We could actually see the smoke from our farm here, which is close to 20 miles away.
I started to pull right off the bat. Both tractors just kind of started to spin out, and those are big tractors. So I knew something wasn't right. Out of nowhere, I just heard a big boom. The tile plow ruptured into the pipeline. Once the gas got through the intakes of the tractors is when it ignited. As soon as I heard that boom, I started running as fast as I could. The ground literally started erupting from my feet.
They were highly respected and they were good at what they did. It was one of those accidents that, when it was done, made people step back and pause. If an accident can happen to them, it can happen to anyone.
Watch the rest of the story at 3secondslater.org. And remember, Farm Safe starts by contacting 811.
Welcome back, everyone, to Hot Mic on WDAY Extra and Informed.com. My friend Zach is joining me now. We were just laughing off camera because you guys will be able to figure it out in just a second. Zach, how are we?
Well, I'm doing okay for now. They're doing some work on the sign outside this window of the office that I'm in. So there'll be various sounds coming up. There it is, all right on cue. We'll be hearing that throughout the time that I'm here. But other than that, it's really exciting. The draft is less than 2 weeks upon us, and off-season workout program has started today. We're starting to slowly get into the churning of the 5-month journey to getting to the regular season. Can't wait for it to get here, but it's only 5 minutes away.
Only 5 minutes away. Gotta love What'd you say?
But it's only 5 months away.
5 months away. I thought you said minutes. I was like, wait, what?
No.
Anyways, gotta love live TV with all the noises happening. Really fast, I just want to get your 2 cents on this. Did you see the agreement that the Eagles and Jalen Hurts came to?
Yeah, I did see that. It's a weird amount of percentage of guaranteed. It's like 177.304 or something. It's some weird decimal number. But yeah, I think it's crazy how much money he got. I mean, he definitely deserves it from being kind of like a backup to taking Carson Wentz's place to taking the Eagles to the Super Bowl. I mean, his growth has just been phenomenal. As I see the repairman is slowly going up the ladder again, so we're going to get even more of this. So before he gets on here, almost finish up this point, I think he's become top 10 quarterback in the league right now, and the contract proves it.
What's wrong with the sign?
I just think that it's doing some regular maintenance on it, making sure that it stays in the regular spot.
Does it actually say Commanders now up there?
Yeah. So there's Commanders in 2 spots. There's one to the left of the door and one to the right of the door.
Because I think when I worked there, it literally was just a white wall. I don't think they had a single name up there.
Well, they did have Washington football team on it whenever you were here.
I don't remember seeing that. But
and then they took it down for the Commanders a couple of years ago. Well, I guess now last year. yeah.
Some big news happened over the weekend, and just so you guys know, as a team reporter, your reporting is a little bit different. So I'm not going to ask you too many questions, but my pretty much only question about the situation is, what is the vibes in Washington right now with the news that came out?
Vibes in Washington, pretty much it's a regular sort of day. Like I said, we're just all getting ready for the off-season workout program. We are aware of some things that may or may not have happened on Twitter and social media last week. The official answer for all of that is we have no comment, which is the best way to say it right now. But if you want to check out Twitter, see what may or may not have happened, go check it out. It shouldn't be hard to find.
Shouldn't be hard to find. Okay. So like you said, draft is what, 2 weeks away? Week away?
Yeah, less than 2 weeks away.
Yeah, almost. Yeah. Oh my gosh, cannot believe it's next week. Washington has what, the 16 pick?
Yep, we're right at 16. Right.
Who are we thinking? Who are we thinking, Zach?
So, for me, after doing just constant draft evaluations, it seems like since it's been January, maybe even a little bit before that. I think it really comes down to me. I think they probably address either corner or offensive line.
I would agree.
Yeah, because I think, and you look at like the top of both those positions, I think they feel pretty good about where they're at corner, at least in the top spots. They like Benjamin St. Juste, they like Kendall Fuller, they like, even the secondary, they like Cam Curl. They have the players, and even Christian Holmes, like another backup guy who they really enjoy, had some starting experience last year. But I think it's pretty clear that they do need some extra help in that arena.
Mm-hmm.
And that was clear once Benjamin St. Juste went down, and they had to kind of work together with a patchwork group of backups. And I think you would like to have a definitive number 3 corner out there besides Kendall Fuller and St. Juste. Someone you can bring in there, maybe work at the slot a little bit, maybe come in there, in relief for St. Juste or Fuller, or even be a starter if one of those players goes down, which has been the case for the past couple of years. So they've been dealing with injuries at multiple positions. And I think on offensive line, you look at yes, they've got. We'll see what happens with Chase Roulier. After he coming back from that season-ending injury he had last year against the Lions. You've got Charles Leno, who they got at left tackle. They got Cosme, who seems like he could be either a guard or a tackle. There's no official word on what that's going to be yet, but either way, he's a starter. And then you've got Andrew Norwell, who is on contract. At least he's under contract for another year. Okay. But I think they want to bring in another, and plus they also address free agency with Andrew Wiley and Nick Gates, 2 really solid guys. But then also on top of that, I think they could still bring in another player who could be that maybe it's a sixth or 7th offensive lineman, and who could potentially be a starter down the road. And there are a lot of really good players for that. I don't think they'll be there. I don't think Skoronski will be available. Maybe even Darnell Wright won't be available out of Tennessee. But I think people like Anton Harrison, other guys like that could be in a position where they could join the Commanders. And I think either one of those positions, I think, could be a definitive win. And plus, on top of that, even if they go one or the other, they have options in the 2nd and 3rd round at either spot that they could address. So they could probably find a good player at either of those spots at day 2 or even day 3 in the draft. So one of those two, I would go to bed that night at probably 3 a.m, feeling pretty happy about the Commander's position.
Is there a specific name that gets you pretty excited when you hear their name come up when Washington's talking about who they might pick?
Well, so I've been rolling through these mock draft Mondays, kind of talking about one player from a mock draft. I think we started in late February, so we've been rolling through that. We're on the second to last one now, and today we're going to be focusing on Oklahoma's Anton Harrison.
Okay.
And that's a guy that you normally don't hear too much about, like in terms of like the top tackles or even top offensive linemen. You hear Cyrus Torrance, you hear Skoronski, you hear DeJuan Jones, Paris Johnson. You hear all those other guys, and those guys are great. But Anton Harrison, he could be a starter.
Wow.
I think he could be a starter in the NFL in his first year just because of what he has available. I mean, he only allowed 9 pressures. And he's a very solid pass protector. His technique is very sound. He lets his pass rushers come to him. He adapts and he adjusts to what they do. He doesn't get too overly excited about trying to stop a defensive end. He lets them come to him. He adjusts his kick steps accordingly. He's very good at tracking his defenders, especially when it comes to stunts and twists. That's always such an area you really want to get adjusted to, especially in the NFL where there's going to be people are coming at you a lot faster with a lot more complex stunts and twists. He's done a pretty good job of that at Oklahoma. I don't see there's too many holes in what he does. I'm more curious to see how he does in the run game. But when you need a pass protector, and Washington does, because they've allowed, I think, at least 40 sacks for the past, at least like 3 or 4 years. Like they need some sure help there. And I think Anton Harrison could definitely supply that for them.
What about Joey Porter Jr.? Seen lots about him. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of things to like about Joey Porter Jr. I mean, obviously, like his length is the thing that sticks out the most, right? I mean, he's got like, how like KD has like those arms that kind of go all the way down to like his kneecaps, like those insane wingspan. I mean, I don't know if it's like that necessarily, but he does have like some really long arms. That has helped him a lot at the college level, especially since he excels at man-to-man coverage. Even if receiver gets a little bit of separation on him, he has these, extended arms that can just reach out and just bat an arm down or bat a pass down. That's great. But I think there are some things about him that I think could use some improvements, particularly his footwork at the line of scrimmage. And he's very physical, and he does a good job of that. But I think there are some times when he he takes more of an extra step than he should. And when I think of that, I think, okay, how would he fare against? There it is. As he goes against some of the better route runners in the NFL, how is he going to fare against that? Now, getting beat that's always going to happen in the NFL as a corner. That's just part of the job. But you can't do things. You can't do things that are going to hurt yourself. And I think the footwork could be a problem for him. At least maybe in the first couple of years. Now, that's not so that he can't improve that, because I think he can with the right coaching. But if you want someone who's going to bring an immediate impact in the first year, I would like someone who's a little bit more technically sound than Joey Porter Jr. is.
So if the draft was tomorrow, what's your gut telling you? What position are they going to rock with?
Probably corner, I think. I would. They give their input.
That was an aggressive one.
It was, yeah. It seemed like they did not like the fact that I was picking corner over offensive line. But I think there are a lot of really good corners in this draft. Now, like, it's a strong cornerback draft. They could find someone in day 2 or day 3, and that could be a third corner. But I think you really want to get, some of the really good ones. Like Deonte Banks out of Maryland is someone that I really do enjoy. Over Joey Porter Jr. I mean, Chris Gonzalez is not going to be there out of Oregon. He's probably going to be a top 10 pick.
Mm-hmm.
But he's probably the best all-around corner. Like, he's so good at anticipating routes. He's so good at jumping receivers and passes. He can do a little bit of both. He can play in man. He can play in zone. He's got the size to really excel and go up against these bigger wide receivers. So, like I said, he's probably not going to be there. Devin Witherspoon is another one that I really like. Really good in zone protection out of Illinois. But off the line, like I said, you have like a pretty good group of starters. So maybe they want to find, someone in the second or third round that could be that number 6 guy who would come in there and be a swing tackler or something. But I like corner a lot.
I feel like that's probably going to be who they go with too. But we'll see. We'll see next week. Zach, really fast. I ask you this every time you come on. What are we making? What's the special treat for the draft?
I thought about that, and
so classic. Gotta love live TV.
I should get the award for powering through these drills.
Yeah,
like
you
this.
should. You should.
I tried some macaroons recently.
All right.
And it's like they have a little bit of a lemon, but they've got coconut inside them too.
Ooh.
So I want to try that out and see where I go with it, because I never made macaroons before.
Yeah, I feel like that's a hard thing to make.
It can be. So maybe you're thinking about macarons, and macarons are a little bit more tricky.
I don't know.
Yeah, so the macarons are kind of like little sandwich cookies that you can get.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of.
Macaroons are more like just kind of like balls of cake. So, but those are a little bit easier.
Okay.
Maybe if I want to be bougie, maybe I can get like a macaron recipe. But for now, we're gonna start at level 1 with the macarons.
Oh, you can do it. I believe in you. That sounds really good, though. You're going to have to send some to us if you make some of those.
Oh, yeah, of course. I have a whole list of things I need to send.
I know. Come on. You got to pick up the slack, Zach.
You're right. I got to figure out a way to like ship it because it's very difficult to send baked goods.
Yeah, it'd probably be bad by the time it gets here.
Yeah, I mean, do you want a box full of crumbs? I don't think so.
If it's made from you, yeah, I want it, Zach. I want it. I miss your baking.
Love it. Yeah.
Zach, thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. You have a good one.
All right, you too. Zach Selby giving us all the insights on everything Washington. I'm hopefully turning some of you into some Washington fans with the amount of times I've had him on. But of course, always appreciate the time. All right, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll have a new guest, Ryan Fowler, come on, tell us what he knows about what he's hearing about these NDSU draft prospects. Don't go anywhere.
The Dragons Digital Network is here to bring you live coverage of all MSUM Dragons home events everywhere you want to watch. DDN combines all streaming options of the MSUM Dragons, NSIC Network, WDAY, and Inforum. All the games, all live on social media, smart TV apps, mobile apps, websites, and more. So however you like to watch, the Dragons are there on the Dragons Digital Network.
Give any room a fresh look with the beauty of Mohawk Tile. Mohawk features more than 350 ceramic, porcelain, and mosaic glass tiles to fit any decor. Pick up 12x12 ceramic tiles for only 89 cents each after rebate. Complete your tiling job with professional installation products from TAC. Menards stocks a full line of mortar, grout, and floor preparation products. Get a 50-pound bag of thin set mortar for only $9.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Live has a new co-host.
I highly recommend it. It's good.
Tuesday, Val Schwarkowski and Jenna Johnson from Dancing with the Stars. Plus,
Mr. Dreamy himself, Scott Foley.
Oh my God. This is insane.
Weekdays at 9 a.m. on WDAY, WDAZ.
On the next Tamron Hall, from 8 to 80, these people prove you can do big things at any age. She's the Tell It Like It Is grandma who gives hilarious dating advice on TikTok. Then it's a Tam Fam fashion show. Meet the 8-year-old who made history as the youngest fashion designer to have a dress to hit the red carpet at the Emmys. Plus, actor and Grammy-nominated singer Tristan Mac Wiles gives us a sneak peek at his series inspired by the life of Kevin Durant. Next, Tamron Hall.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. on WDAY, WDAZ. When you need to stay informed, turn to the only name that matters, WDAY Storm Tracker.
The melt is on.
Cities are preparing for the worst, but hoping for the best. Volunteers are hard at work. You can see people in the background there filling sandbags.
It is very important for people to get out and volunteer.
You can see the flooded ditches in the area.
Now, of course, we're keeping a very close eye on how this rain is going to impact flooding.
For full coverage, turn to the WDAY Storm Tracker team.
From harvesting the grain, to the brewing, to the bottling, to shipping, crafting the perfect beer is hard work. Selecting it? That's easy at Happy Harry's Bottle Shops.
Please use our products in moderation.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. He asked all his therapists to help him undertake some of the house chores. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey.
Welcome back, everyone. You're watching Hot Mic on WDAY Extra and Inform.com. I'm so excited for this next guest. It's his first time on this show, and he seems to know all the ins and outs about the NDSU potential draft prospects. So I'm so excited to talk to him about him. Ryan Fowler from the Draft Network joins me now. Ryan, thanks so much for joining me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on, Logan.
Of course. Okay, so give us some background just about what you do for work and all that good stuff, Ryan.
Yeah, so I do basically everything for the Draft Network. Video, scouting, written, everything that I do is housed at thedraftnetwork.com. Mainly right now, obviously, is scouting, evaluation portions, talking to players, scouts, execs across the league, and nailing everything down as far as player reports, and is trying to get as much knowledge as possible and information on these guys as we lead up to the draft, because it's crazy to say, but it's only 10 days away, which is unbelievable.
I mean, time is just flying by, isn't it? So crazy. Yes. Okay, so like you said, you're just trying to learn the ins and outs about all the players. What have you heard about some of these NDSU guys that are looking to go to the NFL?
Yeah, NDSU, look, every single year, it seems like there's guys that just pumped out for the Bison. It doesn't matter if it's quarterbacks, offensive linemen, receivers, every single year. And the job that Matt Entz has done over the last 4 years especially has just been fantastic. I mean, I know 2 out of the last 4 FCS national championships, but whether it's guys like Carson Wentz in years past or Trey Lance, and then now this year you look at Hunter Lepke and Cody Mauch and Noah Gindorf or Nash Jensen, there are just so many different types of ball players that can do so many different things on either side of the ball. You can look at corner and Destin Talbert. That's a guy that's probably going to be a priority UDFA for teams, and versatility just pops off the page. They're just guys that fit a mold and fit that core guys that you take day 2, day 3, that literally win you championships at the NFL level. And it's just every single year, it seems like NDSU pumps out guys. And it really is, it's cool to see because it's not a small program. It's not, it's FCS, but they should be, hopefully they get the FBS soon because they deserve it.
They do. We'll see.
But every single year they pump out guys. And it really is great to see.
So you mentioned Destin Talbert, and that's honestly not a name that we have heard a lot during this process. What's some things that you're hearing about him?
Yeah, absolutely. He is a guy that teams expect to come in and bring his lunch pail to work and cut his teeth, on special teams before getting reps on defense. And that, unfortunately, is just the route sometimes that guys have to take unless you're a day 1, day 2 guy. And for Destin, whether you want to play the nickel, whether you want to play outside, whether you want to come down in the box or play some high safety, he could do so many different things for you. And now in 2023 NFL, you have to get guys on defense that are able to counter the mismatch nightmares that are on offense. And you look at Destin's game, you're not the biggest guy in the world, but he's got a rocked up frame, do a lot of different things for you in coverage, and then not afraid to stick his face in the mud in the ground game. Destin Talbert's a name that I've talked to at least a handful of teams that have him late on their board and someone that they want to get in, if not draftable, as a UDFA to compete for snaps right away.
So people are talking about potentially drafting him?
Late day 3, yes.
Okay, interesting. Yes. Which teams have you heard are riding high on Destin Talbert?
Yeah, I'll give you a couple. Minnesota Vikings, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the San Francisco 49ers are 3 specifically that I've spoken to on Destin.
Okay. Interesting. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I saw a recent tweet from you about Nash Jensen. What are you hearing about him?
Yeah, he's probably going to be somebody's swing guard within the interior. Big, strong kid. And as someone right now that lives on kind of that linear plane as far as north-south, I want to see him improve as far as east to west. But mentioned that he had a visit with the Minnesota Vikings. They love those interior, bigger boys. Not too far from Fargo, North Dakota, going to Minneapolis potentially. But look, Nash Jensen is someone that probably go late day 3. Again, UDFA, someone that compete for snaps and provide that swing guard spot that you can't have enough depth within the interior. And Nash is a guy that wins mostly in the run game. We want to see him be a little bit better in pass pro. It's unfortunate that teams evaluate pass pro and then the run game. Run game is something that they can work on. But Nash right now is somewhere I just want to see a little bit more in pass pro, but he is someone that can potentially be that swing guard for somebody along the front 5.
Noah Gindorf just had his pro day here the other day. There were 9 NFL scouts. What's something that the scouts have been saying to you about him? Because he's coming back from injury too. So
yes, exactly. Yeah. Long, smooth hands. Just someone that can play the Y, which is attached to the line of scrimmage, or play the F. And when you think of F, just think of flex. So out to the slot or flex out to the perimeter. He draws a safety or a linebacker. out with him. And I just think he's somebody, this is a tight end class, Logan, that is extremely deep with talent. Day 1 to day 3 and even into the UDFAs. And Noah is somebody, again, that blocks his tail off for you. And that goes extremely overlooked nowadays because there's so many different unicorns that enter the league to where they're just so dynamic. They're literally receivers, whether they're flexed or they're in line with their hand in the dirt. He's so, again, from scouts, long, smooth, understands how to sit in zone coverage. He's not running into zones and sitting behind a linebacker. He'll find those soft spots in the defense. Think of a guy like Jason Witten over the years, not overwhelmingly dynamic, but dynamic enough to play a long time for somebody and potentially be that tight end 3 within a rotation if teams want to run some 12 personnel, 13 personnel, and get some multiple tight ends on the field.
So the Lions tight end coach was actually here at his pro day. How big is that for Noah Gindorf?
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. That obviously shows interest, and it's not like, the Lions, have a TJ Hawkinson anymore. That is a spot that they're looking to add. And I think you look at Noah and then the North Dakota State program just fired as a grit and a motor guy. And you look at Detroit with Dan Campbell, guys that want to come in and just play flat out football players. And Noah fits that bill. And that's obviously huge. And that obviously shows interest, tangible interest there. That's what's great about some of these pro days and things. You see people here and coaches and scouts and GMs or head coaches. That's tangible interest that you can back on.
So obviously the biggest name that's coming out of NDSU this year is Cody Mauch. Do you think he's a day 1 or a day 2 guy?
Yeah, Cody is a day 2 guy for me.
Okay.
But someone's going to fall in love with him and someone may take him higher just because you look at him first off, you see the red hair, you see no teeth. That's a guy I want on my front 5, just getting after people in the run game especially. And then you watch him at North Dakota State and his ability when he either playing tackle or guard, which remains to be seen where he ultimately finds his niche at the NFL level, but his ability to get out in space, whether he's blowing up a linebacker that's 240 pounds or a defensive lineman that's 300 pounds, his ability to win with leverage on the offensive line. And that is so big. And guys, just sometimes they never figure it out along the front 5. But Cody is a day 2 guy for me. For me, I am a Washington guy.
Yep.
They need help along the front 5.
I know.
So that may be a fit. I've heard that he visited New England with a top 30 visit with Bill Belichick. That'd be a great fit in his ability to develop guys. So Cody is an early day 2 guy for me.
So I'm looking at the latest mock drafts, and Cody's going 28th, 27th to the Bengals, the Bills, 29th at the Saints, 19th at the Bucks. You see him going any of those places, or do you still think Washington or New England?
Well, he really could go anywhere. Again, it's just the board's going to change. Things are going to happen. Teams are going to trade up, trade down, and change boards dramatically.
Yeah.
But Cincinnati's a good spot. I think, reignite with Cordell Volson, guy from the Bison last year. But again, New England, with Bill Belichick and his ability to develop guards, develop tackles, that's a great fit that I love in the cold in New England, running over dudes in January in Foxborough in the snow. Cincinnati, same thing. Buffalo, same thing. They need some help more at tackle. I think right now NFL projects him to be a guard, but any of those spots, again, I like Cody. I like the intangibles that he brings as well. So he's a guy that I'm not going to pound the table for to get in, but he's someone along the front 5 that's versatile enough to play for a long time.
I personally would love to see him at the Bills. I think he has the personality for that team. I think that would be awesome if he ends up there. But either way, like you said, any team would be a great fit for him. Before you go on to get your thoughts on Hunter Lipke, another guy that's coming off of injuries, what are you hearing about him?
I love Hunter Lipke, and the league does as well. He fits the modern mold of a 2023 offensive chess piece. And he does. It's not looking back to the days of like a Patrick Ricard or a Mike Allstott, those kind of downhill running fullbacks who are just leading through the hole like a bull in a china shop. He's someone that can do that for you, but they can also play some H-back and stay in to protect or flex out in space. And I'm glad that, hopefully he's going to be fully 100% healthy moving into rookie minicamp and training camp in year 1. But I think you look at a guy like Michael Burton with the Kansas City Chiefs, not overwhelmingly dynamic, but I think Hunter's more athletic than Michael was during his time with Kansas City. A guy that fills a multitude of roles, not just wears a multitude of hats, but wears them extremely well. Bigger, thicker body. Again, you want to run downhill behind him, you can do that. And then ask him to use his hands and speed and space and get the ball in his hands. And 2-3 guys got to take him down. That's what you got to do. He's not going to be able to take it down by one guy.
Yeah.
Hunter Lipke's had a lot of attention around the league. San Francisco 49ers specifically have shown a bunch of interest in him, not just because of the old days of Kyle Juszczyk, but in ways that they utilize those offensive chess pieces. I love Hunter Lipke's game. He fits the modern game. And I think another guy I know I've said it a bunch, but I think he's going to play a long time.
That'll be cool if he ends up at with the 49ers, because then him and Trey Lance will be back together. So that would be interesting.
Yeah.
What about
got to get Trey on the field.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be another storyline to follow this offseason. For the Vikings, which direction do you see them going in with their pick?
Yeah, for me, it's still corner. It really is. It's still corner. I just need bodies. They lost Cameron Dantzler this offseason. Patrick Peterson is now in Pittsburgh. You got to get guys on the outside. Their defense is just flat out not good this past year. You can score points, most points wins, but you got to have some sort of defense. That really that's what it boils down to. But yeah, for me, it's corner. I think an Emmanuel Forbes, Mississippi State, elite playmaker, elite ball hawk. There's nobody close to him in this class, in that stratosphere, as far as just that ability and that trait. That is his elite trait. Guys look at him and say, oh, he's 160, 165. Well, turn on the tape in the SEC for a multitude of years and watch him compete. So for corner, that type of body frame, Emmanuel Forbes is the target for me. So secondary right now for Minnesota.
I would have to agree with you on that one. Is there one specific player that you just absolutely love in this draft class?
Yeah, there's a couple, but I'll go with one, and that is Iowa linebacker Jack Campbell. Can do a lot of what you asked with Luke Kuechly back in the day, as far as just that throwback style of downhill, blow up the A and B gaps, and is a sure tackler in space and weaving through bodies. And then now the modern ability to flip your hips and run with a tight end up the seam, or get a race down a running back in the backfield in the flat areas of the offense. Just a leader and someone that can wear that green dot. We always say looking for that green dot at the middle of our defense that can make the calls to left and right in each level of the defense. Jack Campbell from Iowa, I absolutely love. He's a day 2 guy for me, and I would not be surprised he makes a multitude of Pro Bowls when it's all said and done.
Where do you think he's going to end up?
As far as team-wise or on draft day?
Both. Let's get both.
Oh, team? Oh, man. I would like to actually see him in the AFC South with the Houston Texans.
All right.
They need bodies at the second level, and a leader at the core of your defense. All the best teams in football defenses have studs at their second level. So I like to see him in Houston. And again, I do think I see him in early portions of round 2.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Ryan, thank you so much for taking some time out of your morning to chat with us and share your insights about what you're hearing about all these NDSU football players.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Logan.
No problem. Have a great rest of your day, Ryan.
You too.
All right, everyone. Ryan Fowler with the Draft Network, sharing everything that he knows and is hearing from scouts and teams about NDSU football players. Like you said, draft is 10 days away, which is crazy. So it'll be interesting to see how things shake out. All right, we're going to take our last break, and then we'll wrap up the show. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Hot Mic on WDAY Extra and Inform.com.
Here it is. Look how cheap it is.
Go for it, Steph.
Be careful what you buy online.
It's finally here.
Counterfeit products are illegal. They are fake and can be damaging to you, your property, and your wallet.
Go, 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 go!
It looks real, but I don't have a good feeling about this.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! No, get out!
Go!
Buying fake products can cost you the health of your face, skin, and eyes, or scar you for life. Real products are tested for safety. Buy the brand. Protect yourself. This message is brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council and the United States Patent and Trademark Office.
You're smart. Buy smart.
Go for real.
Go for real.
Go for real.
Autism is a common, but such a heterogeneous, such a complex condition that describes many different individuals with different types of symptoms and different types of challenges. As a physician, I had so many questions, and unfortunately, when patients would come to me, I couldn't really give them a lot of answers. As a geneticist as well, I started to appreciate that at least for some individuals with autism, there was an underlying genetic basis, and that we could really start to understand in a much more precise way what was going on for them by understanding the genes, how it affects the brain, how it affects behavior, and how it affects other parts of the body as well. When we think about how many people we need to answer the hundreds of questions that we all have about autism, we start to need tens of thousands of individuals that have the same types of symptoms to be able to answer those questions. Join us today. Go to sparkforautism.org.
This is a murder mystery of epic proportions.
You get this picture of a jealous guy, thinks she's got a lover, and bang, she's dead.
What possessed you to do that?
Could this be a murder for hire?
When you've got something that was this bad,
somebody's got to pay.
Dateline. Weekdays at 1 p.m.
911, what is your emergency?
Every day we encounter people who are having the worst day of their entire lives. Does it get any easier?
Nope.
It takes a certain kind of person to run towards danger rather than run away from it.
Why is this job so important to you?
Growing up, I never saw any heroes who looked like me.
And that's what a hero looks like.
Help is on the way.
Sundays at 8 p.m.
If alcohol builds a wall around you that doesn't let you see where you're going, that keeps you feeling isolated and alone, that makes you feel hopeless, know this. We're here to help if you want us to. It's never too early or too late to ask for help with a drinking problem. Alcoholics Anonymous, there is a way out. For more information, visit aa.org and download the Meeting Guide app.
Welcome back, everyone, to Hot Mic on WDAY-ExpertInforum.com. It really does look so beautiful outside, but it does look a little bit windy, which the wind is such a killer. Because, you know, it could be like 50 degrees if it wasn't so windy. Or maybe I'm just being dramatic. Probably dramatic. But yeah, it looks really nice outside today. I hope everyone's having a great start to their Monday morning. During the break, I just saw some news that the Minnesota... Oh my gosh. Why did I say it like that? The Minnesota Vikings have agreed to terms with cornerback Jawan Williams, who has spent the past 4 years with the Patriots. So he has appeared in 36 regular season games and has tallied 41 tackles and 1 quarterback hit. They needed cornerback, so I guess it's a good move. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We just had Brian Fowler on. He said that he thinks that they'll be taking someone in the secondary in the draft, which is 10 days away. So crazy how fast 2023 is going by. Let's take a look at some things that are on to watch later today. So tonight, the Wild have their first playoff game against the Stars. That is at 8:30 on ESPN2. Should be a good series with them. The Angels and the Red Sox, that is a delayed start. It was supposed to be happening now, but that is going to start right after the show ends at 11:05. You can watch that on MLB Network. Red Sox are my favorite baseball team, so I will be watching that. And then tonight, I said it earlier today, and I'll say it again, I'm pulling for the Kings in this playoff run. I'm sorry. The Kings are leading the series 1-0 right now. They beat the Warriors. Was it last night? 2 nights ago? 2 nights ago? Saturday night. That was a close one. So that's going to be a really fun series to watch. And I love the underdogs. Even though they're not the underdogs. I think they're the 3 seed. Kings are the 3. But they have not won in so long. So, all right, everyone. I'll get you going with the rest of your Monday. Thanks for watching Hot Mic on WDAY Extra and Inform.com.
Get 11% off everything when you upgrade your home with Tarkett Flooring. We carry durable laminate flooring, easy to install sheet vinyl, and waterproof vinyl plank. Pick up Vibe Sheet Vinyl for just 99 cents a square foot after rebate. Save on your favorite cleaning supplies from Procter & Gamble. They deliver quality products from brands you can trust, like Dawn, Tide, and Bounty. Get this 6-pack of Bounty paper towels for just $7.79 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
On the next Tamron Hall, from 8 to 80, these people prove you can do big things at any age. She's the Tell It Like It Is grandma who gives hilarious dating advice on TikTok. Then it's a Tam Fam fashion show. Meet the 8-year-old who made history as the youngest fashion designer to have a dress to hit the red carpet at the Emmys. Plus, actor and Grammy-nominated singer Tristan Mac Wiles gives us a sneak peek at his series inspired by the life of Kevin Durant. Next, Tamron Hall.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. on WDAY WDAZ. When you need to stay informed, turn to the only name that matters, WDAY Storm Tracker.
The melt is on.
Cities are preparing for the worst, but hoping for the best. Volunteers are hard at work. You can see people in the background there filling sandbags.
It is very important for people to get out and volunteer.
You can see the flooded ditches in the area.
Now, of course, we're keeping a very close eye on how this rain is going to impact flooding.
For full coverage, turn to the WDAY Storm Tracker team.
The stories we share are more than just words. They are unseen conversations and interviews. They are hours of research and dedication. They are the stories that connect us with the truth and with each other. We are honored to share your stories.
Happy Monday. Well, I look outside in Detroit lakes and look at all of that blue skies and spectacular sunshine we have out there this morning. A lot of sunshine throughout the area after a very breezy day yesterday, but we are tracking our next system already. That's not too far away. It's going to impact us starting midweek, starting about the Wednesday, Thursday time frame. That will last through the weekend, and it may even bring a few snow flurries. Yes, we still can get snow this late in April. We'll talk about it coming up on WDAY News at 11. That starts right now.